What's going on, everybody? Let's jump right into it. I am Russell Clay. I'm a staff writer at fantasyguru.com. Today, we're going to be looking at some deep dive prospects from the 2022 draft class. As you can see, there's already a few up on the screen. You can't see the tabs, but you can see Tyler Beatty. So we will talk about him first. But thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I'm trying to get to 200 subscribers, so please give this video a like and also subscribe to help me out. Also, comment down below who your favorite prospects are in the 2022 rookie class. Anyway, all right, let's dive in. Tyler Beatty, a guy that has been, kind of overlooked so far in the process. I like him. I think he was an interesting chess piece for this 2021 Missouri team. As you can see, 1,934 yards from scrimmage and 18 touchdowns. Was an absolute monstrous featured back on, a team that wasn't so great, but he kind of helped them be mediocre, is what I would say. And sometimes that's the case with college football. You can only do so much as one guy. Beatty, look at this stretch down the middle here. 142 rushing attempts in the final 5 games of the season. 30 per game just about. And that played out here. Absolutely monstrous end to the year. He was a huge deal on the DFS slates that I broke down, and it was really hard to fade him because you knew you were getting that 140 to 200 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown. So really awesome, smaller back, as you can see, 5'8", 194. Let's go over to playerprofiler.com and check out Tyler Beatty. So, when I'm looking at this, I see 4'5", 197, 5'8", not a totally imposing running back, but he's a guy that I feel like can stick around, and not many people are talking about him right now. I really like what he's been able to do, and I think he's a guy we should at least keep our eye on as we head towards the NFL draft. As you can see, he didn't get any featured touches, but he was on the field as a freshman. Getting over 100 touches as a freshman is a really nice indicator, especially at a Power 5 school, especially in the SEC. So as you can see, Demarie Crockett, Larry Roundtree, we know Roundtree, the Los Angeles Chargers running back, 5th round pick, I believe. 5th round pick? 6th round pick. All right. And Demarie Crockett, a guy that was once getting a lot of hype. So these guys were upperclassmen when Beatty was a freshman, but he still was able to manage to get to that 100 touches in a freshman season. So that's a really good indicator from him. I would say that this is probably a 5th or 6th round draft pick here. But he's a guy I think can stick around, kind of in that Chris Evans mold from last year. Chris Evans was a Michigan running back, 2016 to 2020. He's a 5-year player. So Chris Evans kind of had a similar career, didn't have the great final season, went in the 6th round, tested out pretty athletic, but had that early career production that I always like to see, and I think many like to see. The earlier a guy can get on the field in college, the better. So, guy to think about here. Again, dominant senior season. Not many guys in this draft class are going to have a better final season of production than Tyler Beatty. A guy to at least keep on your watch list. Another guy, Ty Chandler. Not a name that many are talking about at this point in the process. This running back class is not one that has spurned a lot of conversation beyond Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. Ty Chandler, a guy who came in to college as a pretty highly touted prospect, 80th nationally, 6th in his position. So a guy that we all kind of had high hopes for as college football fans. Didn't really work out at Tennessee. I tend to blame Tennessee for at least his numbers not getting higher. Was a guy who produced, pretty well at Tennessee considering the circumstances. Let's take a look at Ty Chandler as well. By the way, this is playerprofiler.com, one of my favorite sites for NFL draft prospects. So this is a pro day, I believe. I don't think Ty Chandler Combine. He did run a 4.8. A 4.38. So there you go. This is the type of guy that can sneak through the cracks as sort of a late round pick, but still a high pedigree type. 4-star recruit, went to a Power 5 conference school, was a starter. Again, talking about that freshman season. Were they playing as freshmen? Yes. And, Ty Chandler was fighting with John Kelly, who was a 4th-round pick to the Rams, 6th-round pick, all right, was really dealing with some decent competition there his freshman season, still getting on the field. And as we saw, over the next couple years, he came into his own as sort of a starter, but never got that featured role on some really limited Tennessee offenses, and I mean really limited. And then this year happens. 2021, taking over for Javonte Williams and Michael Carter. Ty Chandler really emerged. I really like what I saw. Especially that Wake Forest game. I watched that one. That was especially impressive. Virginia, he had some really good games, and I think that's worth thinking about. So Ty Chandler, another guy where, may not be a high draft pedigree guy, but he might be able to stick on some rosters, become a viable depth running back for an NFL roster, and who knows, with injuries now, we could be seeing him get snaps by week 11. So, got to check out there. Another one. So, in the sort of inverse of what Ty Chandler did, Velus Jones played 4 years at USC. Was kind of a kick returner, didn't really get much usage in their offense, decides to transfer. I think we can count this as a redshirt year. And so basically, he spent 6 years in college. The COVID year, I'm guessing he got another redshirt. And he really emerged this year. I really like what I saw. Excellent returner. At the very least, this guy's going to become a returner in the NFL. Tested out really well at the combine. 4.31, 40-yard dash, 6 foot 204. And what's interesting is I know he wasn't emerging as a wide receiver until very late in his career, but I saw some really impressive skills out of him in his final couple games. Josh Heupel really got this Tennessee offense going in 2021, and I thought Velus Jones was one of the main beneficiaries. So this is a guy, again, we're looking at deeper dives here. These aren't the automatic, the Garrett Wilson, we know he's going in the first round. These guys that we're talking about today, it's a little more difficult. It's a little more of an abstract painting, but you got to find the positives. When you get past the top 3 rounds where guys are getting drafted, we don't look at this like an abstract painting. What are the positives for Velus Jones? I would say this kick return and punt return ability, very valuable. Maybe not for fantasy, but for an NFL team, if he can get on there and start for special teams, this will not only keep him on the roster, but if injuries hit, as I mentioned, this might give him a shot at offensive snaps. So this is a guy I would definitely keep an eye on. As I mentioned, a much better final season as a receiver and something I think he can build off of. I saw real NFL caliber skills, and of course the 4.31 is, got all the juice there. Not many wide receivers above 200 pounds running 4.31s. So just throwing that out there. And the last guy, Jerreth Sterns. So for those of you that don't know, Jerreth Sterns was a transfer from Houston Baptist. and he transferred to this Western Kentucky team in 2021 and just absolutely blew the doors off things from a production standpoint. Look at this production. It was automatic. Doesn't matter who the opponents were. This guy was producing every week. Only one week under 80 receiving yards. That is pretty absurd if you ask me. 1,902 receiving yards, 17 touchdowns. And while he didn't get a combine invite, I still think we should be keeping an eye on this guy. I mean, let's go to Jerreth Sterns here. Jerreth Sterns, he just ran a 4.45 at his pro day. While that loads, just an absolutely dominant season. And I get that it's his final year. I get that he's not an enormous wide receiver, but 5'9", 195. That's like Brandon Cooks. That's a big big smaller wide receiver, as I would say it. He tested out okay, and he tested out well enough to where I'm saying, why did he not get a combine invite? A guy that produced 1,900, receiving yards, 1,972 total yards. This guy should be at least getting looks from the NFL. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but for us, as dynasty leaguers, as fantasy football players, as guys kind of trying to project who's going to be relevant at the next level, I look at this guy and I say, this is someone who I think can make a roster. He's open all the time if you go back and watch some of that Western Kentucky film or just the games. He was a great route runner. He found himself open a lot and played this totally featured role after transferring. This was his first year with the team, was absolutely dominant. So a guy I think we need to put on our watch list, and someone that I think, even if he doesn't get drafted, could be a guy who comes into training camp and says, hey, I'm here, and kind of does the Adam Thielen type role. So certainly someone to focus in on, hone in on. These are four guys I think we should really be thinking about in the weeks coming up to the draft. They may not be drafted in the first round, but keep your eye out for all four of these guys. As always, I thank you guys for tuning in. That's the end of this episode for today. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you want to help me get to 200 subscribers, I'd really appreciate that. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think of these four intriguing 2022 NFL draft prospects. So, as always, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time.